So far we have learned how to write simple alerts, and now we want to make our alerts even better using the for expression. Consider the alert that we created in the previous lecture. In that alert, we had an expression which was essentially a PromQL expression. And if that expression returns true, then we will get an alert. And I said that that expression has to return true for 1 minute before we see an alert or the alert status gets changed in Prometheus. But sometimes 1 minute isn't enough because, as I said, for example, some APIs may have temporary and intermittent problems and they recover by themselves. So we don't want to get false alarms and we want to take more time before we get an alert. And for that, we can use the for expression. So basically, for expression is to define a time threshold. The use of for is very simple. In your alert YAML file, you can simply use for and then define a time. For expression has to be exactly under the expression or XPR, because in the YAML file, as we said, the number of spaces and indentation is very important. For the time, you can use S for second, D for day, M for minute, W for week, H for hour, and Y for year. So let's go to our alert and then modify it. So this is the alert that we created, and this expression that we have in here, if it returns true for 1 minute, Prometheus raises an alert or changes the status of an existing alert. If we want to change that from 1 minute to, for example, 5 minutes, all we need to do is to go exactly under expression, XPR, and type for and then a colon. You can have an optional space which makes it easier to read, and then you can specify a number and a letter for the time, for example M for minute, as we said. So now that expression that we have here has to return true for 5 minutes before Prometheus raises an alert. So that's one thing. Now I want to show you something else. Remember this website that I showed you, and I said that it has quite a few of alerts and you can copy these alerts and use them. So the first alert that you see in here is basically the alert that we created. It checks to see if any target or exporter whose job attribute is equal to Prometheus exists. So in our case, the way we did that was that we said the up function or expression must return a value greater than 0. Otherwise, raise an alert. And that means that up always returns the number of targets that were found. So we can do the same thing with the absent function. We learned that absent returns an empty result if whatever expression we pass to it, the instant vector returns something. So if up returns any targets whose job is equal to Prometheus, then we get an empty result. Otherwise, we get one item in the instant vector whose value is equal to 1. And we said that in the realm of Prometheus, 1 is true and 0 is false. So you can rewrite your alert in the same way. So instead of having this equal to 0, we can say absent and leave it as it is, because if absent returns one item and the value of that one item is equal to 1, basically it's returning true. So you can do it in this way as well. It's basically a bit easier to read for someone who's good with the functions, but you can use either way.